Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&A, so let's go ahead and knock this out. Okay, first question. Do you have any intention of completing a purely hypertrophy-focused cycle? Well, given that I run conjugate, no, because we focus on hypertrophy year-round. Now, you will notice that my supplemental work itself looks like pretty much what people would think of as pure hypertrophy training, right? Why do I say that? It's mostly around 10 reps. We are trying to optimize volume. I'm doing somewhere in the range of if we take out the max work and speed work, okay, and we just go with the 10 rep sets, I'm doing between 12 and 20 work sets per muscle group a week at around 10 reps, right? Split up twice a week. So from that perspective, that is maximizing hypertrophy. We're maximizing hypertrophy. And I'm focused very, very heavily on body composition. That's something I've said because of what I'm doing. I'm not going to be able to just bulk my way up, including body fat, to get to certain lifts because I'm, again, getting older. Health matters, and I will be competing in specific weight classes in the future. So body composition is going to be critical. I'm going to have to basically be at any given body weight. I need to be leaner and more stacked than my competition. So that means I'm going to continue to get leaner and leaner, and I'm going to have to maximize hypertrophy in order to pull that off. So that's definitely a part of what I do. However, it will never be purely hypertrophy focused because I'm going to do max work. I'm going to do speed work. I'm going to do all of that stuff every single week. And then we have to factor in the conditioning side, right? Because I do conditioning work every week also. So realistically, what do I have? I have 4 different performance elements that I focus on every single week, and that's max strength, that's speed strength, it's hypertrophy, and conditioning, right? So I incorporate all these elements because that's what we do with conjugate training, and particularly, again, concurrent periodization models, which is what we use usually in conjugate training. So there's no need for me to do one. It doesn't mean I'm not heavily focused on hypertrophy. I'm focused on maximizing it. And I'm also focused on maximizing total body composition at this point because I'm going to have to. So no, I have no need to actually do phases like that. I'm not a fan of block periodization. I don't use it. I don't program it for my lifters. There's no need with the system that we use. We just keep a heavy hypertrophy focus in there with all the supplemental work. All right, next question. Have you ever run dynamic effort squat without the box? I don't recommend that you do this. That's not a good idea. Number one, it's not that hard to set up a box. How desperate do you have to be in your situation where you can't find a way to have a box to squat on? You can stack plates, you can make it out of mats, you can get specific boxes, you can stack stuff at the gym. I personally use these days, the 1-inch EVA foam mats, and I stack it to the height that I want. But I mean, you can stack 45-pound plates, you can stack bumper plates, you can build a box out of all sorts of stuff that's totally suitable and acceptable even for very, very strong lifters, right? There's easy ways to set this up. So you can never use the excuse, well, I don't have a box. No, you're just not being creative. You're being lazy in your creativity. So that being said, there's no reason to never have a box. So then we come over to the question of why the box. People say, well, can't we just do a pause squat? Can we do pin squats? And when people say that, they're missing the complete point. They're missing the point. And I'm not saying pause squats can't have their place in training, but they can't replace the box squat, because the box squat's not just about the pause on the box. The box squat is about breaking up the eccentric and concentric chain. Okay, it's about maximizing force production. And there's some data out there that's looked at it, and they found that the box squat has the highest rate of force production, right? Because not only do you have to come from a pause, you have to come from that hard stop on a box itself, and you have to stay tight under it. You have to stay tight under it. So someone might say, well, couldn't we do the same thing with just pin squats? No, because then you're hitting those pins and you have the ability to get loose. You can get loose under a pin squat and then re-get tight and drive back through it. Like you can drop yourself almost off the bar and then come up and hit the bar to get it started, right? You can create some inertia really easily. And in fact, you probably will off of pin squats because that's the normal way to kind of do them. Okay, so you're not getting the same rate of force production from the muscles. When we do pause squats, again, you're holding it isometrically and coming up, and it's not bad for rate of force production, but again, what happens when you compare it to the box squat? It still doesn't quite compete, right? Because we don't get the hard stop that we do off the box. We don't get the ability to unload the hips while maintaining tightness in the core, right? We don't have the ability to do this the same way. We're not going to get the full benefits. The box squat really is the best way to do this, right? It's the best way to do this, and the beauty of it is it's 100% consistent every time that we do it, because we can control the box step. Now, some people would say, well, you could change footing and it'll change it. True, but as long as you keep footing pretty close, you're good. But, if we make that same argument, well, there goes your pin squat also, because footing will affect the where that starts as well. So, no, there's no reason for you to not use a box squat for it. It's the best tool for the job. We could argue about all sorts of variations of it, whether we use different bars, change heights, bands, chains, whatever, right? But the box squat itself is the best tool for this role, because we are trying to maximize our rate of force production, which the box squat tends to be the best at anyways. Right? It tends to be the best at anyways. All right, next question, and possibly last question of the week. And normally I might not take a question like this, but I did look at his footage and I saw something in there that we need to cover. He said, I'm 6'2" and I squat to a 12-inch box wide stance. Well, would it be better to raise the box height or to lower the weight and count the fail in the box if I can't get straight back up from it? As I currently use momentum when on the box, should I lower the weight on my maxes? 145 kg 12-inch box. Here's a video to explain it better. Now, what he means by momentum, he means he's rocking the box, and his rocking is quite a bit excessive, which means we should probably count that as a miss. And again, I've done this before and said, oh yeah, that was a good lift, when I've done like a 550 box before. But, realistically, I know I've used too much rocking. We probably shouldn't count that. And so by rocking the box, what do we mean? Because people don't understand. It's when your torso swings back enough that the bar goes behind your feet. Because ideally, we want the bar to stay midfoot, right? Because without the box, we would be forced to keep it midfoot or we would fall over. The box lets us get way back. You see people box squat who they literally swing their torso back so far that the bar goes 8 inches behind their heels. I've seen it. I've had clients do it. Okay. What's the problems here? Number one, you're not staying tight. If you're not staying tight, it's not really carrying over to your squat the same way. In other words, if you get loose and then swing off the box and you think that, oh yeah, well, I'm going to be able to back squat more than I box squat, which you should, but you're not able to stay tight and you're just swinging back and using momentum, number one, it's not going to give you accurate carryover when you back squat. Right? You're going to actually box squat more than you can back squat, which is not how it's supposed to be. So it's not going to be a useful tool for really estimating what your real strength is, right? Because you're cheating the weight up. Number two, go back to that other question we discussed with rate of force production. Right? If the rate of force production is because we stay tight and we break up the eccentric concentric chain and then drive straight up, what happens if we rock? We're using momentum to get ourselves started instead of using our muscles to get ourselves started. Okay, so we're losing a lot of the training benefit that we get from the box squat. So something that we need to be aware of and be very, very careful of that. So in his case, I would say, the box height doesn't matter that much. You pick the box height, how close to parallel you're trying to train with right now on the box, right? Especially on maxes, because you can test if you don't have different bars, bands, chains. Changing box heights is a great way to have different maxes for the conjugate system. Okay, not a big deal. Work with it. So, but as far as the other question with the momentum, we call it rocking the box. His box rocking is excessive, and it's a problem. We're not saying all box rocking has to be completely eliminated, but you have to try to minimize it. And sometimes it's impossible to minimize it, but it's the effort we need to make. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.